So how do you know how much to feed your dog? How much is too much and how much is too little. It's as if those who are taking an interest in your dog's nutrition, it seems like you have this cauldron and you're trying to mix ingredients to come up with the perfect mix so that your dog can be healthy. And with all the information coming in, all the information that from blogs and websites and videos and other people on chat rooms, it seems like there's just a lot of information coming in. It's hard to sort it out. What's vetted, what's scientific, what's just random things spilled in your way, and how do you determine all that? I know it's hard. I know when I started feeding Patch raw, I didn't really know what to do. I just started chopping up some blocks of meat and giving it to him, and eventually, I had a fortunate meeting with Dean and Tracy at Mountain Dog Food, and what I saw with their food was truly incredible. They had the magic cauldron that we all have to make the formulas to make our dog food with, but they put science behind it. They put facts behind it to make sure your dog's food would be safe. And so I'll give you an example. They created a program called the blending program, and what that is a program that you can put in. Say it's a magic cauldron, right? And you throw in these ingredients to make a potion, and that's what it's like. It's like this program that you just throw in ingredients that you want to give to your dog, and it compares it to standards that have been tested. So the AAFCO standard, the NRC standard, and they both are feeding trials that have been going on for years to determine the proper nutrients for dogs. And above that, MDF looks at a lot more than that. Mountain Dog Food is a food that you can trust, in my opinion. My opinion is that, they're safe and they're science-based. And so this video is going to show you that magic cauldron. This video is going to show you how that works, how Mountain Dog Food puts together its formulas so that they know that what you're feeding your dog is appropriate. Anyways, so welcome to Mountain Dog Food's demonstration of their nutrient blending system. Now, we already explained how we define our standards. We define them through the feeding trials of AAFCO and the NRC. When these nutrients were defined, they also defined maximum levels. So these, what those are we defined what nutrients that could cause harm if ingested in larger quantities. You don't want to do that. You don't want to overfeed your dog a certain nutrient because it can do more harm than good a lot of the time. And how we determined all this is through the caloric density. The caloric density of the food is the amount of energy that is provided by a specific mass of the food. So we're going to kind of explain that as we go and give examples of that. So let's start by let's add 10 grams of apples. As you can see that many of the items have turned in red. This indicates that values for those nutrients are below standard, and by how much they are below. The numbers in black are above standard and by how much they are above. From this you can see that based on the caloric density of the apples, they provide an excellent source of potassium, thiamine, and folate. You can also see how the small amount of calories these apples added. So let's move on and replace the apples with 90% lean beef. You can see that many of the items are red. So this indicates that values for those nutrients are below standard, and the numbers in black, as previously stated, are above standard. From this you can see that based on the caloric density of the beef, it is an excellent source of many, but not all, the nutrients. There's also a certain level of concern for the amounts of calcium phosphorus that has been added through adding the beef. You can see how this now has moderate amount of calories compared to the apples. So let's see the effects of raising the caloric density. So let's look at 50% lean beef and 50% beef fat. Many of the items to the right here are red. This indicates that many of the values on the list of nutrients are below standard. But fat does add higher amounts of calories. So let's add in some ground chicken with 90% lean beef. You can see that fewer of the items are red now. So that indicates that fewer of the values on the list of nutrients are below standard. More of the numbers are black, which means they are above standard. From this you can see that based on the caloric density of the formula, it provides an excellent source for many but not all the nutrients. For instance, the calcium phosphorus levels have risen above the minimum. In doing so, we added a moderate amount of calories. Adding supplements can also be beneficial, but can also cause issues due to excessive nutrients. It's like what we were talking about, defining the maximums. You don't want to feed too much of something, and you have to take that into consideration when adding supplements to your food. And so do we. Mountain Dog Food takes that into consideration. We want your dog to be healthy and happy, and we want our food to be safe. For example, kelp, which is a popular supplement, adds iodine and other trace minerals. However, excessive amounts would add too much iodine and other nutrients. So, consideration should be given to this when adding commercially blended supplements. Other considerations when formulating include antioxidant nature of some foods. And that's huge, especially with free radicals nowadays. There's a lot of them, and using antioxidants is a way to combat and help your dog be healthier and stay healthier. Another thing we look at is soluble carbohydrate levels. And wild canine diets generally have carbohydrate levels between 4 to 7%. And so we take that into consideration as well. So while we look at this, there's a lot of consideration that we've talked about. But on the blending program itself, it's not considered absorption rates. For instance, calcium that is derived from the bone mass has a low absorption rate, so higher levels in the calculation may not necessarily mean a problem. What should also be said is that at Mountain Dog Food, we look at more than just those nutrients in the standards. We actually look at about 85 various nutrients. And these numbers come from a third-party source of a very reliable nature. For example, the USDA, based on hundreds of samples typically forming baseline values with a defined variation. So that's all great. The number for the bone-in chicken and turkey was assembled by us, by Mountain Dog Food. And this is to include the nutrients from the bone mass because the USDA doesn't include them. And so we took it upon ourselves to figure that out so that we could provide factual nutritional information. So from all of this, you can see that creating formulas that meet the standard while providing a palatable product that does not cause problems like loose stools or constipation can be quite challenging. This is just another way Mountain Dog Food goes the extra mile for your dog.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked our video, thought it was informative and helpful, please press the bottom right square to subscribe, bottom left to share, or click the link to our page to see other great videos from Mountain Dog Food.